Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Accelerated ID series. My name is Shantae Skilldagger, and I will be your host for today's session. We will continue our exploration of our 4-step instructional design plan today. It's going to be all about identifying your instructional design gaps. And that's important because we last week we kind of talked about where you want to go, and we know where we are, right? So everything in between where I am right now today and where I want to go, that's a gap that we have to fill. As new and aspiring instructional designers, you are in a situation probably where it feels like you've been attached to the end of a fire hose and there's just so much information coming at you and so many different opinions, right? You go into one group and they say, oh, you need to learn this tool. Oh, you need to know this model, or oh, you need to learn this theory, right? And you're meeting people like me who are like, oh, here, I think I've got the plan for you. So what I wanted to do was just help you clear the noise that is probably coming at you, help you just kind of calm the waters and help you figure out what exactly it is that you need to work on to become an instructional designer for an organization that would be interesting to you. So I'm going to walk you through how you can figure this out for yourself. We're going to do this one time together, and then I'm going to encourage you to go out and do this some more, because going through this activity, and I know I haven't explained it to you yet, but going through this activity one time is enough to give you an introduction, but you need to go through it 2 or 3 or 4 more times in order to find themes across different job descriptions out there. So this is an active job out there right now. What we are going to do is we're going to walk through this to figure out what are the very specific job skills that you will need for this job as an instructional designer. You can figure out what the ID skills you need are and what the knowledge areas that you need to develop are by looking at several job descriptions. You can look at the summaries over here and specifically look at the bullet points. So this very first bullet point says, proven experience applying the ADDIE model and in creating participant-centered learning. So you can see that over here in this spreadsheet, I added the ADDIE model because in that bullet, it told me that for this job, they want me to know how to apply ADDIE. So that's a hint that that might be something that you need to work on. Then in that bullet point, it also said, and in creating participant-centered learning. So on that line 3, I added create participant-centered learning. So bullet point 2 says, conduct needs analyses to ensure all training materials are highly targeted to the needs of the audience. So that tells me 2 things. I need to do this needs analyses, and I also need to understand my target audience, right? I will go ahead and move on to bullet 3. Analyze metrics to identify additional training opportunities. In that next bullet, it says validate understanding of performance objectives for training via shadowing, interviewing SMEs, and reviewing current documentation or reporting. Provide clear expectations to sponsors, SMEs, and other stakeholders using internal project management tools, material review meetings, working sessions, and project status updates. That's a whole lot of project management bundled into a single bullet point. Wouldn't you agree? So we're managing project expectations and schedules. Again, that's project management. And then it went on to say creation of a design document. So we need a design document. So you need to know what that is and how to build that for this job. What else do we have? Produce training material, produce training deliverables aligned with performance objectives and customer expectations. Make design and content changes to existing deliverables based on best practices. So we need to know best practices. We also need to know industry standards. Create and maintain file structure throughout the projects. So let me ask you a question. Is there anything here that surprises you that you weren't aware of that instructional designers do. My guess is that those of you that are aspiring instructional designers, you hear the terms, you've got to know how to do instructional design. You need to know adult learning theory. You need to know Storyline 360. You need to know RISE. And then maybe some of these other things that are here you might not have heard of before. So, instructional design can mean a lot of things. But what that also means is that we have a lot of different areas that we have to develop in order to go from where we are to getting that instructional design role that we are aspiring to have, right? Now, I have done this so many times over the years that that's why I already have these buckets created, right? These different buckets of project management, instructional design essentials, instructor led courses, instructor led assets, all of that stuff, e learning, instructional videos, because we've been analyzing job descriptions in the area of instructional design for quite some time so that we could provide support to people who are aspiring to become instructional designers. And then we're on the hiring side. We are writing the job descriptions. We are hiring the new instructional designers to the different teams and different clients, organizations that we work with. So we've seen this so many times that we actually built our curriculum around these buckets because these are the themes that just come up every single time. And as you go out and you do your homework, you go out and you pick those 4 to 5 jobs that interest you, and you go through and you select the domains, you're going to see these themes continue to pop up for you as well. So I know that was a lot of information in just a very short amount of time. We do have, it's a free resource. It's out on instructionaldesigncompany.com under free ID resources. We have a 90-day instructional design plan. So you can map out your own development plan for the next 90 days, looking at all the skills that you've identified that you need. You can create that plan so that you can start upskilling on your own. For those of you that want to go faster and you want immediate support, you want to have a community and coaches and work reviews, just send me a DM and I would love to tell you all about our instructional design and tech accelerator system. And then next week, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the different ways that you can fill in your instructional design gaps. Okay. So we'll talk about self-study. We'll talk about master's degrees. We'll talk about certificate programs. And then you can bring that 90-day plan if you want, and you could be mapping out some of those things that you want to do and what that you want to work on.